Okay, hello. This is part two. I'm sorry about that. My phone did end up dying, so I had to come back with a part two. So when it got to the point where my daughter was seeing, after she seen the elephant, I was just like, okay, maybe she's just seeing things. Maybe she just had a bad dream. So then she's like, no, mom, I didn't have a bad dream. I seen it. I woke up out my sleep, and when after I woke up out my sleep, I seen it there. And the crazy thing is, anybody that knows me knows that elephants is my favorite animal. And I always used to tell my children, like, okay, I love elephants because I just feel like they're just gracious. They're, just big, just wonderful animals. So, and I just love elephants. And for something to use that against my children, I knew at that time that it had to be something more than what I thought it was. Because I just thought it was just a dream at first, but then when I sat and I just thought about it, I was like, why would it be an elephant? Why did she see an elephant with red eyes? Because I always tell her how much I love elephants, and elephants is just graceful and peaceful. So why would an elephant be something that she seen that was evil? So at that time I knew that somebody was trying to use something that I liked it against my children. But I didn't like let it click, and it didn't click to me that it was, my aunt doing certain things or witchcraft at that point in time. So fast forward, my mom had started experiencing certain things, and when she was experiencing certain things, she was like she told her mom, and then my cousin had told my grandma too, and then my grandma just made it seem like she didn't care. So at that time, I'm just like, what type of person don't care about your child telling you that she's experienced witchcraft and it's from your daughter? It's from your other child. So clearly you don't care. So, and then your grandchild telling you the same thing. So I'm just like, okay. So I had stopped talking to my cousin. I had stopped talking to a lot of them because I just distanced myself from them because I didn't want to be a part of what they were doing. I didn't want to be able to get attacked or to have myself in that predicament, in that environment. So I just like stopped talking to them. So, okay. So then it ended up coming to a point where I had ended up moving from that place. I ended up moving from that place. Me and my children had ended up moving into another place. At that place, my kids was experiencing certain things. They were experiencing seeing things with red glowing eyes, seeing things with green glowing eyes, people in the closet and stuff like that. I was experiencing certain things coming up missing, certain things moving and stuff like that. So then I just kind of just thought that maybe it was haunted or something. So me and my brother was kind of doing some research trying to see if it was somebody that died there. So, but we didn't ever came up with anything like that. But I never like thought that it had something to do with them and the witchcraft situation. So I'm just like, okay. So then I end up moving from that place, and I'm in the place that I am in now. So I'm in this place that I am now, and then it was a time that I still was kind of like in my sin when I first moved here. I was still, doing what I wanted to do. I was still smoking and things like that. So I really wasn't having the gifts that I have now. I didn't have the gifts to be able to see things or to really be able to hear God at that point in time. It was just, I just had always had gifts of being able to feel people's emotions and being able to have discernment spirit. So that was just something that I always had. But So when I was here, I would feel certain things. Like I would go in my closet and I would feel like something like staring at me. Like I felt like something was staring at me. I felt like something was in my closet. My kids would tell me something was in my closet. And they always say that kids always have a sixth sense. So then they're they easily see things more than we do. So my my 2 year at this time, my daughter, my youngest daughter, um, she was telling me like, Mom, I'm seeing things up under the bed. I'm seeing things and it's scaring me. It's something that's in the closet and it's scaring me. So I would go in the closet and I'm like, I don't see anything. Mommy don't see anything. Where is it at? So she was like, Mom, it had teeth and it had red eyes. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'm like, just come sleep with Mommy. So she would not want to sleep in her room for nothing. She would tell me all the time, Mom, it's something in my up under my bed. It's something in my room. Something was always trying to scare her because it knew that it would get power over scaring her. So it tried to do things to be able to scare my children. So I'm just like I'm just explaining it to my mom. And one day, me and my mom, and then we were fasting. And at this point in time, when we were fasting about the situation, about people getting attacked by the witchcraft and things like that, and certain things that people were going through at this particular time. So while we were doing that, I ended up coming into more of my gifts at this point. So at this time, I was able to really see things. So it was one day before then. Well, it was one day I'm just sitting and I'm just talking. I'm sitting in my living room. I'm just talking to God. And I'm just talking to him. And then something in my kitchen, I happened to look over in my kitchen and there's like something on the back wall. And then it just was, all I could see at that point in time was like blackness. So I would see like the form of it. It was like a black form, like sharp, like I don't know, like kind of claws and and it was like kind of hunched down. But all the red eyes is what it really stood out, the red eyes, and then kind of reminded me like, okay, my kids were saying that, but then it started saying stuff to me. So it was just saying like nasty and evil things. And then I was like, I just kept saying, I was just talking to, and I'm like, leave me alone. I'm like, I don't care about what you're saying. I said, my father and my mother is going to destroy you. Anything that you feel like you going to do to me, they're going to destroy you. So at that time, it kind of like, I seen it back away because it's like, okay. This funny though, because my mom, every time I tell my mom, she just laughed because she said, your mother, yeah, because my mom, she has very special gifts, and she has a light around her, a bright light of God. So I know that she's able to take certain things down and to do certain things and from God. So I know it. So that's why I said that. Yeah, she is. And my father God will. So at that time, so then I did like probably a couple days or so, I was talking to my mom and we were just talking about certain things, and we were just talking about the situation with the witchcraft and stuff. And at that point in time, I seen, when I say God has showed me an altar, the altar that the witch had, well, that she has, and certain things on that altar she was using against certain people. I seen it. It was certain people, stuff from my family, from pictures to certain pieces of jewelry, certain pieces of clothing, certain pieces of stuff that she was using to try to do something to people. She would try to do certain things by feeding people food. She would try to do certain things to try to have some type of attachment and try to have some type of hold over certain people. But they don't understand nor realize because my grandma always tried to cover up what she does. And how can you try to cover up what somebody is doing to other people in your so-called family that you supposedly love, but you're letting evil win. You're letting evil get over on certain things. But I had to realize and understand that she wasn't right her own self, because there's certain things from her family lineage that they were doing that they thought was right. So from situations with her going to psychics, from the stuff that her family was doing, her sisters and her dad and stuff, from the Freemasons to all that other type of stuff, they were doing that stuff, and they brought certain demons to be able to attach to this family lineage from what they were doing in their past. And because of that, she thinks that that stuff is okay. But it's not okay for somebody to do witchcraft on people or to try to kill somebody or hurt somebody because you want what they have, or you want control over a situation. So, okay. So I'm just going to get back to the situation with, okay, so me and my mom and my cousin, we was like, because the stuff, it was starting to get bad in my house. Because after I had stopped smoking, I was really able to see certain things and, hear certain things. And I was able to really know certain things that was going on around me. Because when I was smoking, I think it was just feeding off of my sin. So because it was feeding off of the sins that I had, it was able to really have some type of hold over me. But when I was clean and I was going to God, it didn't have that hold over me. So it was trying to start doing stuff more to my children. It was starting to do stuff to scare my children, to have some type of power over my children. So it was starting to turn on. It was turning waters here. It was like scaring my children, opening doors, whispering to my kids certain things that they were telling me that was going on. So I'm like, enough is enough. So I'm telling my mom, and I'm like, Mom, my room feel heavy. Sir, I'm like, this thing gotta go. So the thing that was here, my mom ended up seeing in a vision, and I ended up seeing it in a vision, that it had to do with my aunt, with the witchcraft. It was connected to her because it was a part of her. Because not only does she dabble in witchcraft, she has something on her. She has something connected to her. And it's something not of God. It's something of evil. And that thing that is of evil, that looks like a gargoyle, and some people might be like, a gargoyle. Yes, that's what it is. Because even when my mom seen it and God showed her and then God showed me, and then when I see this thing that was in my house, that's what it was. One day, like I went online, I went on Google, and I just like kind of searched it up, right? And you'll see a gargoyle. So then I asked my youngest daughter, the one that was seeing this stuff, I'm like, have you ever seen one of these before? I'm like, did you ever see something like this before? So I'm just seeing it, because I'm like, well, maybe she'll say she's seen on TV or see. She's like, yes, Mom. She said, that was in my closet. And it just kind of had me like, I don't know. At that point, I kind of got like angry and sad at that point, because I'm like, that's crazy. How could you send something to me to try to attach to me, knowing that I have children, but and then those things is hurting scaring my children and trying to do stuff to the people in my household. But then when I realize it's because you have that on you. That's why, because they know that it's gonna have power. So it tries to use whatever it is, that power, over the situation. And then that's when I was just like, okay. After my daughter told me, like, yeah, that thing was in my closet. That thing was the thing under my bed. She said it had sharp teeth, like a shark. And it had red eyes. Like, that literally made me to the point, I'm like, no, enough is enough. And that's when I really got angry and upset, because I'm like, this is what my daughter's been seeing. This is what my kids been seeing. This is what's been scaring my kids for years. And I'm wondering why if certain things is following me, certain things is happening to me, but not understanding that it came because you sent your daughter to my house to bring this thing to my house. You had your daughter leave certain things in my house, like clothes, hats and blankets and stuff like that, to be able to have this send stuff to my house. And now it's trying to attach itself to my children. And then at that point, I was just like, no, we got to do something, because this is what she's seen. This is what's been in my house. Because my daughter's not going to tell a story. She's not going to say, yeah, Mom, this is what I've been seeing, if that's not what she's seen. And I asked her that on a simple fact of, because me and my mom seen it, but we wanted to know for a fact if that's what, I wanted to know for a fact if she's seen it somewhere. I just thought she was like, yeah, on TV. Nope. She said, yeah, here. Because that's what I seen. So I knew that's what she seen. Because if God is showing me in my visions, in my head, this is what's in your house, I know this is what's in my house. I know this is what I seen. So my mom was like, okay. So my mom comes the one day and she brings her holy oil and things, and like she's trying to bless my closet and bless, my house and things like that. But then at this time, it's getting angry. It's getting real angry. So then my mom was like, okay. And I just told her, like, Mom, I really think that we all need to do this together or whatever, because something is just telling me that me, her, and my cousin needed to try to destroy this thing together to try to get it out of here. So she's like, yeah, okay. So then my cousin was like, yeah, she felt like the Holy Spirit was trying to tell her the same thing. But my cousin don't live here, so we had to do it over the phone. So at this time, we all like made a time and things like that to try to like do this. So the time had came, and when we were on the phone, we had started praying and started doing what it was that God wanted us to do to try to defeat this thing and try to get it out of here. So while we're doing that, and we're all doing it together, like trying to just defeat this witchcraft that's been trying to have a hold over everybody for a minute, I see the thing in my hallway next to me, because I'm walking from my room to the hallway to like the steps. I see the thing get up in my face, and it just starts growling at me. At this time, it's growling and it's angry. And then I'm just like, okay, I'm telling my mom, like, it's in my face, it's growling or whatever. But I'm not letting it faze me, because at this point, I'm just like, okay, what you trying to do is not about to stop me from stopping you, from stopping what you're trying to do to these innocent people. How do you try to destroy innocent people that should be able to have some type of control over their own life? How do you try to have control over somebody else's life, somebody's children, somebody's family, your brothers, your sisters, your nieces, your nephews? How do you do that? How do you try to destroy and kill these people because you want power? Because you want what somebody else then got. Because you want what God then gave somebody else. No. It don't work like that. God then gave you a chance and you continue to keep on doing witchcraft on people? I don't think so. So at this time, I'm like, okay, I'm just keep going back and forth. Me and my cousin just going on the phone, just going. So some just tell me like, okay, Holy Spirit just come on me, or God, just like, okay, go in your kids' room. Because my kids' room door was shut at this point in time. So, okay, I'm like, I'm going in there. As soon as I stepped foot in a room, it was like a heaviness, a heaviness to the point, like as soon as it was so heavy. So I'm just like, I knew it was there in that room. So I'm like, it's in the girls' room. So I'm like, I go in the girls' room, and at that point in time, I feel it jump on me. So you remember when I tell you that cause my grandma and them was always into certain things, that they had demons on them from their family generation, from the free, because they was in Freemason, they was in that type of stuff by doing lighting candles. They was in that type of stuff by going to see psychics. They was in that type of stuff of trying to do certain things that they probably shouldn't have been doing. That's why that demon was on them. So that demon God has showed me probably a couple of days or a week before this stuff happened, because he wanted me to see what else was going on in his family. So that thing was in my kids' room, and that gargoyle thing was in my kids' room. And when I tell you the gargoyle was on my back, the other thing was like on my chest. One is pulling me this way, one is pulling me that way. If I wasn't there, I literally probably wouldn't believe in my own self. But because I was there, I know what happened. That's how I know God is real. Nobody could tell me that evil isn't real. Nobody could tell me that God isn't real, because what I experienced, nobody could tell me different. So I'm literally in my kids' room. I am like literally getting pulled from the front to the back. It's literally like thrashing me against the wall. I'm hitting the wall. Like literally it's dragging me to the floor. Like I'm literally like in a battle of like a back and forth battle. I'm trying like to still, like my mom, my cousin telling me to speak and say, but at this point at the time I couldn't, because, and then also in my vision, I'm seeing my aunt. Keep calling my aunt, because she ain't my aunt. She a witch, because she's not my aunt. Because if anybody your aunt, they don't do stuff to you like that. So I'm seeing the witch. Got my chest, like got my heart. And like I see her in my head, like in my vision. See her grabbing my heart, trying to yank it out of my body at this point in time. So I'm seeing her grab my heart, trying to like yank so hard, and but I'm still seeing the things like on my front and on my back. My kids is literally like screaming and crying because they don't know what's going on. They're crying. They're like, "Mommy, mommy!" Like all of my kids is just crying. They're scared. And then that's what even made me even angry, because then my kids got to witness me in a battle of evil, a battle of good and evil. Like that's literally what it was. So my mom and my cousin, my mom just like, go downstairs. Like I hear her on the phone, because they're on the phone with me still at this time. So my mom like, go downstairs. She said, I'm on my way. So she said, like, the whole time she's just talking to God. She's like, God, I don't know what it is that I'm going to do, but I know that this is why you brought me here. I know you brought me here to be able to fight demons. I know you brought me here to be able to do certain things. So, God, I know that you're going to help me. Whatever it is, I'm going, because I know that you is going to help me to be able to save my daughter. So my mom was really upset at the time. So she's like on her way. So my cousin, she's still praying, like they like yelling something to get off me, leave me alone and stuff like that. So my mom is like, go downstairs. So I'm like I tell my kids like, go downstairs. So they running downstairs. So I'm following them like afterwards. But at this point in time, I probably made it to like the 6th step. And when I say like my steps, like it's like once you get to like probably like about the 6th step, that's when you could literally see the living room. But I was still on the part where you couldn't see the living room. But if I would have stepped one more step down, I would have been able to see the living room. But it would not let me. It was like a shield blocking me from being able to go downstairs. It would not let me downstairs. It wanted me to stay upstairs. And at this point in time, I'm hearing it telling me, like, I will kill you if I have to. So I'm telling my mom, like, it said it's going to kill me if it got to. Like, it's literally telling me certain things. Like, it's angry at this point. It's mad at this point. So someone was telling me that it wanted my mom to come, because all this whole battle of me in this situation with witchcraft and this stuff with her and stuff, like, it always was because of my mom. She was always jealous of my mom because of the gifts that God gave her and the light that God had gave my mom. It was always a battle because she wanted what my mom had. She wants what my mom got. And because of that, they always try to do stuff to try to destroy my mom. So if that meant, okay, me doing something to your children, or me doing something to your grandchildren, if that's going to destroy you, then that's what I'm going to do. Because she always wanted to try to take what my mom had. So at this time, so I'm on the steps because I'm like, it won't let me go. It would not let me. Like, I couldn't even step another foot down. Like, it was literally, I was blocked on the step. Like, I was trying to push myself. It was not letting me. So I just sat back on the steps and I'm just talking to my mom. I'm just talking to my cousin. And then I'm just literally just, at this point in time, I'm just crying because I'm just like, I don't know what else to do. So I'm just crying. I'm just crying at this point in time. I'm just talking to my cousin. I just hear them just, talking to God, calling on God. At this point in time, I just hear my mom. And I just hear my mom just calling on God, like, God, send your angels, God. Send your archangels, God. Like, I hear her just screaming for Michael. She's screaming Michael's name. She said, Michael, Michael. Come, Michael, come. Like, she said, send your archangels. Come with your archangels. Come with your warrior angels. Come with your word. When, like, she said that, I could literally see angels, like, flying. I could literally see angels flying down. Like, I seen them, like, cause in my vision, I see them, like, literally. If you ever seen, like, a movie before, and you see, like, the angels, like, coming down for war, that's what I seen. And she just screaming. She's like, God, Michael, I seen them. They was coming. And I feel like they was coming to come save me. They was coming to save me. So that's why I tell you that nobody could tell me. No matter what nobody say, no matter what nobody think, no matter what nobody will feel about what I'm saying today, or what you believe, nobody can tell me that God isn't real. Nobody can tell me that God's angels isn't real, because I seen them. Like, literally, my mom's calling. My mom was probably about in the front of my house at this point in time. So she's in the front of my house at the point in time while she's calling on Michael. So I just hear, I'm on the steps, and I just hear somebody, like, coming to try to, like, come into the house or whatever. So my kids end up letting her in the house at this point in time. But I seen the angels already coming down. So my mom, like, she grabs me off the steps. She said she was just calling on God. She just said, God, whatever it is you need me to do, I'm about to do it. Whatever it is, you work through me. Whatever it is that I got to do, God, you show me. So she came in here, like, she took me off of this, like, she was able to get me off of that step. She was able to. So she got me off this step, and at this point in time, she just going, and she just, like, telling me, like, to just act, because at this point, I think God just, it had a hold over me because I was in sin before, and God needed me to be able to release what it was that she tried to do and have a hold on me. So at this time, I literally my mom was just, like, throwing holy oil on me, just, doing whatever she needed to do to try to help me. And then that's when the Holy Spirit just told her to tell me to lift my hands up and just say, God, forgive me. God, forgive me for everything that I ever did, God. Forgive me for my past, God. Forgive me for all the sins that I ever committed, God. God, just forgive me. Forgive me for every sin, knowing and unknowingly, God. Forgive me for allowing these people in my house, God. Forgive me for allowing the enemy to be able to have some type of hold over me. Because if I wasn't so blind to the fact that I was in sin at this point before, I wouldn't have been able to have that type of hold over me. Because the enemy wouldn't have no type of sin to be able to attach to and to feed off of. So I had to raise my hands up and I had to ask God to forgive me. I had to call on him. So my mom just come there. My mom just starts speaking in tongues. My mom is just like literally just the spirit, just the Holy Spirit, and just came down, and like she just in here, and she's literally like a warrior of God, a warrior angel, like she is. And then like literally when I say that, me and her started walking back and forth, it was, and every time I say that, I see it. It was an angel standing in my middle of my living room. Like I told my mom just walking back and forth. And I'm like, Mom, it's the angel right there. She said, I know, I see it. And like literally, once she was like walking, as soon as you walked even by that angel, you will fall down to your feet. You will fall down to the ground. She every time my mom would walk past there, she would fall down to the ground. Just the presence of the angel. You just knew that God was here. You just knew that God sent his angels. God said, no more. No more would this person be able to try to destroy you from witchcraft. No more. He said, you are free now. You are free. I am setting you free. Because that thing lifted up off of me and it was gone. And this was about, I would say, maybe 2-3 months ago. This happened. And ever since then, that thing has not been back. That thing has not been here. There was not no way that something was coming here anymore, because I would not have any type of sins to be able to have anything to be able to attach to me anymore, any longer. Anything that God asks me to do, anything that God tells me to give up, I say, Father, I'm doing it. Whatever you ask me, Father, my answer is yes. My answer is yes for you, not for me. I don't do anything for me. I do it all for you. Because where would I be without you? Where would I be without my mom's prayers to try to save me? So that's why I give God all the honor and all the glory. And nobody could ever tell me different. It don't matter what nobody feels or what nobody might have to say about what I done said today. Because nobody was there besides the people that were there. And if you weren't there, you wouldn't understand. Unless God gave you that feeling in that spirit, that feeling in your heart that you know this is real, that's how you will know. God will give you that confirmation, like, yes, what she's saying is true. What she's saying, I did. Yes, I did send my angels. Yes, I did save her. I did it. What I did for her, I could do for you also. So nobody can ever tell you that God can't save you. Nobody can ever tell you that God can't do this for you. God could save you through anything. If God could save me from getting attacked by demons that was brought onto me by witchcraft and from my sins. Because if I wasn't in sin, they probably wouldn't have been able to send them demons to my house the way that they did. But because I was, that them demons was able to feed off of my sin. But when I didn't have any sin anymore, they were trying to feed off of my kids' fear. So then it was up to me to ask God for my forgiveness for allowing it to even happen. For I didn't allow. So I'm not saying I allowed her to, well, actually, I did allow her to, because I allowed her in my house. I allowed certain things to happen because I allowed her to come. I gave her permission. When you give somebody permission, that's when it's easier for somebody to try to do something to you. That's when it's easier for certain things to try to attach to you, because you give people permission sometimes, and you might not know that at that time you gave them permission to do something to you, because you might just feel like, oh, I'm just letting this person in my house. Oh, I'm just taking this from this person. This person gave me this as a gift. Oh, I'm just giving this picture to somebody, but not knowing what they're going to do with it. But some people don't give people permission. But because you might have a sin on you, or you might be in sin, it might be easier for something to be able to attach to you more. So I just want to just say thank you for allowing me to speak today. And I just want to just say God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And just know, if you're going through something, if you're going through a form of witchcraft, if you're going through a form of a curse, if you're going through any battles that the enemy might have on you, just know that you're not alone. Just know that you could call on God. Sometimes it might not be easy, but just know that God will be there. God, say, God, please send your angels, God. Send your archangels to help me. Send your angels to fight this battle for me, because I can't do it alone, Father. Sometimes you might not even know that you might have something on you. Just say, God, please give me the wisdom and the knowledge to see if there's something on me, to know if somebody is doing something to me. God, show me. Show me a sign. Whatever it might be, God, open my eyes to see it. And trust me, He will. I just want to say thank you. Have a blessed day.